Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Al Horford hasn't had an impact on the Warriors because he doesn't fit the roster, and trading him will be necessary. Nikola Vucevic, from the Chicago Bus, will likely become available, and Vucevic is a scoring center who fits the Warriors' style of play. If the Warriors manage to sign Nikola Vucevic, they will be making a good deal. Al Horford hasn't delivered the goods for the Golden State Warriors this season. Although Horford is an aging center who isn't as mobile as he used to be, his steady long-range shooting and ability to make winning plays led the Warriors to believe he would be a solid addition. Unfortunately for the Dubs, Horford has been an underwhelming frontcourt contributor in the Bay thus far, averaging 6.9 points and 5.0 rebounds while shooting 39.9% from the field and 35.3% from beyond the arc. If the Warriors want to play it out with Horford and attempt to replace him in free agency, Blue Man Hoops' Peter O'Keefe believes a two-time All-Star center could be a viable option. Nikola Vucevic could prove Al Horford replacement in free agency, O'Keefe wrote last Friday. Vucevic has been in trade rumors for what feels like forever, including being a prominent name linked to the Warriors before last season's deadline. Passing on the 35-year-old proved the right decision given they got Horford this past offseason, leaving Vucevic to remain with the Bulls where he's expected to stay now beyond this deadline, according to NBA insider Jake Fisher of the Stein Line on Thursday. If Vucevic does hit free agency and Horford was to depart, it could be a natural fit for Golden State, who are still looking to address their center rotation. While Vucevic isn't anywhere near the defender Horford is, he's arguably a better offensive player and rebounder who's remained a very productive player. Vucevic was linked to the Warriors during the 2024-25 trade season. While Kevin Looney was a fan-favorite center known for doing all the dirty work for the seven-time NBA champions, many were adamant that the organization needed a more skilled and well-rounded big man going forward. The Bulls ultimately retained Vucevic, and the Warriors elected to go in a different direction before the February 6 trade deadline. They traded for Jimmy Butler. However, Golden State could circle back to the former Philadelphia 76ers big man in the offseason and give their frontcourt hope for the immediate future. Vucevic is a reliable low-post finisher who's an undervalued floor spacer and ideal veteran center for the flawed Warriors. The former number 16 overall pick is averaging 16.8 points and 9.1 rebounds per game, shooting 50.7% from the field and 37.9% from three-point range. It wouldn't be surprising for the Warriors to strike a deal for Vucevic before it's all said and done. Warriors reportedly less likely to trade Kuminga after Jimmy Butler injury. Warriors reportedly less likely to trade Kuminga after Jimmy Butler injury originally appeared on NBC Sports Bay Area. With the NBA trade deadline just over 1 week away, there is increased uncertainty around the direction the Warriors are headed. It is evident that Golden State, currently 26-22 and 8th in the Western Conference, must shake some things up if it wants to compete in the stacked West, especially after the season-ending injury to Steph Curry's right-hand man, Jimmy Butler. Jonathan Kuminga has been the name most brought up in the rumor mill, especially after he requested a trade earlier this month. But the Warriors might have to reconvene their Kuminga plan after Butler's ACL injury. The Warriors now are less likely to move Kuminga at the February 5 deadline following the injury to Butler, ESPN's Anthony Slater reported in a column published Tuesday, citing multiple team sources. Before Butler's injury, the disgruntled young wing was a DNP-CD, did not play, coach's decision, for 16 consecutive games. He fell back out of Steve Kerr's rotation and a divorce never seemed more imminent. But with Butler sidelined, Kerr turned back to Kuminga, only for the 23-year-old to sustain a bone bruise in his left knee. He will be re-evaluated in the next few days, but there's some optimism he could return before next week's deadline, Slater reported, citing team sources, while a decision about his future in the Bay must be made. The Kings have been one of the teams interested in Kuminga dating back months, but there hasn't been any recent traction in those talks, Slater reported, citing league sources. So, despite Kuminga's wish to pack his bags and start somewhere fresh, it appears more and more likely that he could remain a Warrior beyond next week. Warriors are ending Stephen Curry era in Golden State, writer believes. Stephen Curry can't be thrilled with the current state of the Golden State Warriors. Even with Jimmy Butler, the Dubs were still a mediocre franchise with a slim chance of representing the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. With Butler out for the season with a torn ACL and the Warriors not feeling inclined to trade him for an asset that could help salvage their season, Curry will likely have little to no hope moving forward. For that reason, Blue Man Hoops Jack Simone believes the Warriors are ending the Curry era in Golden State. Warriors are basically ending the Stephen Curry era themselves, Simone wrote Monday. Curry isn't getting any younger. He knows it, the Warriors know it, and the fanbase knows it, too. In reality, he probably only has a few years left in the NBA, and it's impressive that he's still playing at the level he is. Yet the Warriors just can't seem to put a top-tier team around him. They tried with Butler, but even before the injury, things didn't look too good. And none of their young guys are taking a big enough leap to make up for it. Now, with the latest report that the Warriors are against trading Butler and Draymond Green this season, they are left in an eternal state of mediocrity. If the Warriors stand firm and don't change their stance on trading Butler and Green at the last second, it'll be safe to say that a fifth championship isn't in the cards for Curry. The 37-year-old superstar will do his part to give the Dubs a chance to succeed, but without a formidable partner in crime, it would take a miracle of some sort for Golden State to be the last team standing this season. Fortunately for Curry, the Warriors still have time to make things right. Warriors fan favorite faces roster cut as Steve Kerr steps away from pivotal call. How many times have you seen Stephen Curry delegate the ball-handling duties to a teammate? This year, the Golden State Warriors found the guard, but keeping him is seemingly another challenge. It's not easy for Steve Kerr, who needs to be proactive, or it may lead to the loss of potent two-way guard Pat Spencer. Before the Timberwolves game, Kerr was asked about Spencer's future. "I would love to. It's really a Mike question, but he and I have talked about this." The head coach said that the GM, Mike Dunleavy Jr., will make the decision. He offered a sneak peek of what those conversations were about. "You know, there's a reason we gave him a couple games off last week. We wanted to make sure we were doing everything necessary to keep him ready for games like tonight. But yeah, it would be ideal if we could get him on the roster, but we don't know how that's going to work out." With Stephen Curry, me, and Draymond Green back out for Monday night at Minnesota due to injuries, Pat Spencer got his fourth start of the season. The problem here is that it was his 46th active game for the Warriors. Now, he will be eligible to play in 4 more games on his two-way deal for the rest of the season. This poses a dilemma for the Warriors, who already have all 15 roster spots occupied. Coincidentally, Steve Kerr and the front office only have 4 more games ahead of the trade deadline when they could open up a roster spot. Spencer, who is making $636,435 this year on a two-way deal, was thrust into action due to injuries this year. Thankfully for Golden State, the guard has taken full advantage of his opportunity, helping his team stay afloat while Stephen Curry was injured. In his first career start against the Cleveland Cavaliers on December 6, Spencer scored a career-high 19 points on 58.3% shooting from the field while going 3-4 from downtown, helping the Warriors earn a 99-94 win. He scored in double figures again in his next start against the Chicago Bulls, another win for the Warriors. Even Steve Kerr appreciated the impact of the 29-year-old guard. "Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a pick-and-roll threat. He just takes care of the ball. He just gets us into really good offensive rhythm and sky shots and just creates really good possessions. Even when we don't score, the possessions feel good when he's out there," said Kerr back in December. Because of his ball-handling skills, even Stephen Curry noted that Spencer allows him to play off the ball as the guard takes on more playmaking and initiating duties. Options for Steve Kerr to deal with Pat Spencer's situation. Spencer had a unique path to the NBA, as he didn't even focus on basketball full-time until 2019. But now, if the Warriors sign the former lacrosse standout to a standard contract, they will be paying him the prorated minimum. But the Warriors are currently $264,000 under the second apron, which they can't cross. So they'd have to clear about $700,000 to immediately convert Spencer's contract. Clearing that much space shouldn't be too difficult to do in a trade. The bigger issue is finding a trade partner that is willing to take back one more player than it sends out. Before Jimmy Butler's season-ending injury, one could make the argument that Spencer wasn't needed. Now, it's an obvious need for Steve Kerr's rotation. The 29-year-old guard showed he could help when he had a 5-game stretch in early December with averages of 15.2 points, 5.4 assists, and 4.2 rebounds. In those 5 games, he scored more than 10 points and even averaged more than 5 assists in 3 of those games. Now, Curry and Kerr have already stated the importance of Spencer for the team. But the decision lies with Mike Dunleavy Jr. to provide the solution. Warriors hit with bad news on $112 million wing trade target. The Golden State Warriors' search for a high-impact wing upgrade suffered a significant setback as the NBA trade deadline approaches, with one of their top targets is now effectively off the table. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, the New Orleans Pelicans have firmly closed the door on any possibility of moving their prized wings before the February 5 deadline. Just as New Orleans has repeatedly insisted it intends to hold on to in-demand swingmen Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones, Stein wrote Monday in the Stein line. The stance eliminates a key avenue for Golden State, which had quietly identified Murphy as its preferred wing target. Trey Murphy III was Warriors' preferred wing target. Murphy, 25, has been widely viewed inside league circles as the Warriors' top wing priority. Earlier this month, Clutch Point's Brett Siegel reported that Golden State was willing to discuss multiple first-round picks in pursuit of Murphy, a reflection of how highly the organization values his two-way profile. Michael Porter Jr., Trey Murphy III, and Herb Jones are the Warriors' top 3 trade targets at this time, Siegel wrote. While the Warriors would be open to moving 2 first-round picks for Murphy, Golden State is cognizant of needing to maintain future draft assets. Siegel added that Golden State was far more reluctant to move similar draft capital for Porter, especially if such a deal required including Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. Why Murphy fits Steve Kerr's system perfectly. Murphy's appeal goes beyond his gaudy numbers. He is averaging career highs of 22.2 points, 6.0 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 1.5 steals, while shooting 37.8% from three-point range. More importantly, Murphy provides elite perimeter defense, positional versatility, and secondary playmaking, traits that align cleanly with Steve Kerr's system and postseason demands. In many ways, Murphy represents the two-way wing archetype the Warriors envisioned when they selected Kuminga 7th overall in the 2021 NBA Draft. Murphy is also locked into a team-friendly 4-year, $112 million contract. With Murphy no longer attainable, Golden State's internal calculus has shifted. As a result, the Warriors are believed to be increasingly likely to pivot away from a major wing acquisition at the deadline, barring an unexpected shift in the market. Jimmy Butler injury changes Kuminga outlook. The Warriors' stance on Kuminga has also evolved following Jimmy Butler's season-ending ACL injury, according to ESPN's Anthony Slater. Multiple team sources have described it as less likely Kuminga is moved following Butler's right ACL tear, Slater wrote. Before Butler's injury, Kuminga had fallen completely out of the rotation, failing to see the floor for 16 consecutive games. Without Butler, Kuminga returned to the mix, scoring 30 points in 30 minutes off the bench before suffering another setback. Kuminga injury, trade tension still loom. Kuminga's return was short-lived. An MRI revealed a bone bruise stemming from a hyperextended knee and rolled ankle suffered in last week's loss to Dallas. Despite the injury, NBA insider Chris Haynes reported that Kuminga's trade request remains unchanged, leaving Golden State navigating both a medical issue and unresolved roster tension. Still, the Warriors are not inclined to rush into a deal. Kuminga's salary is still very much available on the market and could be a needed puzzle piece if a larger-scale trade materializes, Slater added. His desire for a fresh start is known, but so is general manager Mike Dunleavy's unwillingness to make what he views as a bad value deal just to acquiesce to Kuminga's wishes.